Turning our attention to good leadership and how to motivate people if you are a good leader. Let's bring in Jocko Willink. He is the author of Discipline Equals Freedom, has been on the program before, and he's known for his work helping people rise to the occasion when they are in leadership. Now, your current book on this topic talks about different elements, strategies and tactics. Leadership Strategy and Tactics is the title. What are some of the key points people should know about this?
I think one of the key points that I put forth in the book that I think is one of the most underrated tools in leadership is actually listening to what people say. If you've got a conflict with someone, don't attack them, listen to what they have to say. If someone's got an alternative view of your plan, instead of trying to attack their version of the plan, just listen to what they have to say. So one of the points I make out of the gate is being able to listen. And really a lot of that is hinged upon you being able to keep your ego in check and stay humble.
Hey, Jocko, it's Julie here. I got to ask you about examples or lack thereof that we are seeing of leadership in public life right now. I mean, what you're describing is not really what we have been seeing lately, especially when it comes to the political campaign. And I'm thinking in particular, not of last night's town hall, but of the debate a couple of weeks ago, where there was not a lot of listening and a lot of interrupting happening.
Yeah, you notice at first I smiled and laughed when you said that, but then I get serious because I think it not only represents, just both the candidates not listening to each other, but then that's what drives our country to not listening to each other. And instead you just have people screaming about what they think is right instead of actually listening to what someone else has to say and then trying to formulate a plan based on some common ground. So yeah, I think it's a great example of how not to be a leader. When you're a leader, you listen to what people have to say, you take their opinions, and you don't just listen to them to appease them. You're not listening to them in order to manipulate them. You're truly listening to them and trying to figure out how you can incorporate some of the ideas that they have to make your idea stronger. So yes, Julie, unfortunately, you are pointing out an example or two examples really of bad leadership. We should listen to each other.
So let me put you on the spot, but give you in and out. I want you to grade both candidates, Biden and Trump, something they do well and something they do poorly in regards to their leadership styles.
Something they do well and something they do poorly. I mean, obviously what Julie just said about them not listening to each other, I think that then I'd say if you look at Trump, obviously something that Trump does is talk too much, maybe tweet too much. And then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got Biden, who doesn't talk very much and doesn't really put forth much information. So they're both sort of the opposites of each other. And I guess we're going to see how it turns out in November.
Hey, Jocko, Rick Newman here. Who's doing it right? Give us maybe three names, people you might consider role models for leadership, whether it's, sports, business, entertainment, culture.
I recently wrote the foreword to a book called About Face, which is a book by a guy named Colonel David Hackworth, who was a colonel in Vietnam. He was highly decorated. He was a battlefield commission in Korea. And the principles that I talk about all the time are really rooted in the kind of attitude that he had, which is, you've got to work hard, but you've got to stay humble. And I really wish we would see more of that type of leadership in the country right now. I have some friends that are politicians actually, and it's interesting. They're both on opposite sides of the spectrum, I guess you could say. One of them's named Tulsi Gabbard. The other one is named Dan Crenshaw. I'm friends with both of them. They're both good people. They both have very different views, but they're friends with each other as well. They talk to each other, they communicate, and instead of attacking, they try and find common ground. So I think those two folks are some examples of some good leadership and people that I personally know and personally like and that I like to see in leadership positions.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.